All right. Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Yep. I think my audio is coming through. Hello, hello. Anyone? You guys can hear me, right? What's up? What's up? What's up? What's up, everybody? Thank you guys so much for tuning into the stream today. Um, so, uh, we have some stuff to talk about in relation to. I'm gonna look here. I'm doing the same thing I did last time, where I have like the camera up on where I use it for my videos because it's a much higher quality, and then I'm looking down at my screen here. I'll try and look here so it doesn't look weird. But if I'm looking down, it's because I'm reading the chat and such. Um, we're gonna be going over Blue Lock Chapter 98 predictions today. We're gonna be going over some Discord hot takes. So if you haven't joined my Discord server, you should totally do that right now. I'm going to put that in the chat as well. I'll pin the Discord server link, or you just go to the top of my channel. The link is there. Join that, and then get your roles, of course. That way you can submit your stuff, and then we'll be doing some reaction to some stuff because there is a video that my buddy Sizzles he wanted me to watch from him. And me to give him my thoughts on that, and I'm very excited to watch it. I've wanted to watch it for like a week now, and I decided to put it off until the stream because I feel like you guys would get a more genuine reaction out of me from that, and I think you would enjoy it more. In relation to when leaks drop, leaks for the foreseeable future are going to be dropping on Monday nights, which kind of sucks because as like creators, well, actually, it's not the worst for creators. It's more just bad for me because like a Monday night to Tuesday is like the worst day for me because I have class all day on Tuesday, and then I do a live with Raito on Tuesday nights. So I would be cramming for the video to drop on Wednesday, and it's kind of just like cucks me out of like being able to have a video released on Wednesday. So you guys can't hear me good? Let me peep the stream on my phone. Wednesday, and yeah, it's gotta be on you guys. You guys can barely hear me. I just played it on my phone, and it says they can hear me just fine. So I don't know the details on that. It's probably for you guys, but yeah. So leaks are gonna be dropping Monday night. Um, and for my video that I usually do when I cover the stuff, I'm going to be releasing it on the official chapter and it would go up Wednesday. So, unfortunately, we're not going to be getting something like you won't be getting a special video on Wednesday like you would usually get from me. Like, you usually get a video on Wednesday and then you'll get one on Saturday and then the chapter review and breakdown on Sunday. It's going to be a little screwed up. Um, but we'll make it work. Maybe I'll try and fix some stuff. So you guys get videos more. Do I know why the leaks were moved to Monday? So, from what I know, at least this weekend, the delay on leaks came from an issue with the store that the leakers were getting the leaks from. So, how the leaks work is the magazine for the week would get delivered to a bookstore in Japan, and someone in Japan, typically an employee, would break the law and take photos of the leaks and send them out to people in other countries who pay for the leaks early, right? So Ryuga, Shadow, Myth, Boichi, J World, like all leakers for Blue Lock. And this applies for like other shows too, like other mangas like One Piece, Sakamoto Days, um, Record of Ragnarok, like people who do stuff like that. Um, it's against the law to take pictures and send it out, but they pay for the leaks. And as far as I'm aware, there was a situation where at the store that the leakers usually got their leaks from, the guy who worked there was an issue with like the cops. So I don't think the guy was able to take the photos that day. or I don't know if he was able to get them out because of like um worry about getting arrested himself. So either A, the main leaker who sends the actual leakers the leaks, I just said that a lot, is waiting till the cops disappear or dissipate, so it's a lot easier for him to do that. Or they switch to a different person to buy the leaks from, and when they get these stuff is on Monday. So as far as I know, that's the situation that came up in relation to that. Um, but other than that, I'm not entirely 100% sure as to the situation. But that's about what I know. So we'll be probably just chilling for another like maybe 5-10 minutes, and then we'll go into predictions and stuff. Get people in here, get the crowd coming. Um, and then we'll do some hot takes from you guys, and we'll do some excuse me, and then we'll do some video reactions, or maybe we'll do video reactions and then hot takes. I don't know. I don't know how I feel today. I hope that the stream will maybe go on for like maybe 2 hours today. Um, I would hope, but yeah. How you guys doing though? How you guys doing? Like, it's been. I don't think I went live last week. When did I last go live? Yeah, I went live 11 days ago, so it's been like a week and a half since I went live. How you guys doing? I miss you guys. I miss you guys. I enjoy you guys. Getting in here and communicating with our community. It's fun. Talking with everyone. It's great. So how's everyone doing? I want to know how you guys are. Oh, also for just FYI on the leaks, we're getting 2 extra double spreads or 4 pages. So it's not intended to be 2 double spreads, but we're getting 4 additional pages with this next chapter. So we're getting more content from them. Oh, Alfredo, I'm sorry, man. It sucks being sick. Trust me. Like my exam week just see like I'm in college and we have midterms, and our midterms happened like before spring break, which was like first week of March, so we're good. Getting to the end of April though is when it's gonna get stressful. I gotta write like a long essay. I gotta do some final exams. I gotta prep for some stuff. I gotta do I'm going to a formal with a girlfriend, so I gotta get a nice suit to wear because I don't know where my suit is here, so I have to get a new one. So the leaks coming out on Monday. When did the normal chapters come out? Normal chapters release through like Kodansha, I think at 12 p.m., so noon EST, on Tuesday. So it'd be literally in less than 12 hours after getting the leaks, we would get the officials. And um, in relation to what I would cover for my video, I'm going to cover the officials on Wednesday. So official chapter will drop on Tuesday, EST at noon. My breakdown of the chapter and everything will drop on the Wednesday at 9 a.m. So in what is that, 21 hours after the officials drop, you'll get my video. I'm also gonna try and work on 2 more videos. So you guys really requested to cover more like light novels and one shots. I have like back here I have like 2 of the light novel books. So this one you have Ryo, Rain, and Shigeru's light novel, and then on this one you have Isagi, Bachara, and Nagi's light novel. I do have them translated into English, and I do have the high quality images that we get in these things. These are sealed. Um, but if you guys want me to cover those, I will be covering them in the. But you guys seem to have requested Harajuku first, episode Harajuku, which has the Nagi and Ryo one shot of them just before their first game for the episode Nagi's side story. So before they verse Amori Da Da Da. Let's see. Really, I thank you so much, man. Like I love BLUELOCK, so thank you so much for enjoying the content that I'm putting out. Like I'm trying to get to the point where I could be considered the best content creator for BLUELOCK, and I have some good competition. Like Hiro is definitely in my opinion, probably the number one up there. Dark Hero Josh, he's really good too. Um, Of course, Raven, Onyx, Sizzles, and Amasu, like they're all rivaling me, or they're all like people I want to rival and surpass. But yeah, so it's ambitious, but I'm gonna try my best for you guys. Um, my favorite goal in Blue Lock, probably Kaiser's Magnus. To be honest, basic bitch answer, but like the build up to Kaiser's Magnus, the support I had for Kaiser going into that chapter for 2 weeks, um, and nobody seemed to like believe me when I said that Kaiser was gonna score. So the fact that he did just made me feel like on top of the world. I stayed up all night for it. So when I saw it, I freaked out. It was a whole thing. Mm. Do I believe that Ryo and Nagi are more talented learner and the best gems in Blue Lock? So Ryo is 100% a talented learner. Nagi is by far a genius. Um, I would love to see more matchup videos. I really enjoyed the Sai versus Kaiser versus Lorenzo. Yeah, I enjoyed that video. It didn't do as well as I thought it was gonna do, but matchup videos usually don't do well, especially since I haven't done one in a long time. It's not considered like a regular for my channel anymore. Um, Dorai and Hayate are playing. We don't see them do much, so I wouldn't consider them to be like very good. When you started watching Blue Lock content, it was only with Clam. Yeah, I saw Clam stuff, but I didn't really watch him very much. Like I saw him pop up on my page a little bit, but I never actually like watched Clamp. What Blue Lock moment when reading or watching had you like? This is one of my favorite manga. So getting into Blue Lock, I only watched the anime. Like I knew nothing about the series going into it. Um, so I went in to Blue Lock from the anime. I had no idea of the concept. I was spoiler free. I watched the whole first season without any spoilers. So I saw everything happen up to like first and second selection without knowing anything. I think I did know about Izagi calling Bado a donkey, but I didn't know the context. Like I saw that panel very, very early on in Blue Lock because I didn't really get it. So when I saw it, I was like, oh my god, I clicked with it. But the moment that got me into it might have been Chigade's Awakening. It might have been Chigade's Awakening. Chigade's Awakening or Isagi's a goal against Team Y. That might have been what got me into it, like locked in. As for it being labeled as my favorite, like because I got locked in on Blue like really early on, but what I would say got me considered to be my favorite. That's hard. I don't think it was a solid. I think it was just more like wearing me down. Because like after I finished the first season, I binge read all from because we only had finished Manshine up to that point. So I binged from third selection all the way to Manshine City in like a week. Not even a week, like 3 days. I binged the entire manga. So it was very like it wore me down. But I think Kaiser's goal sealed the deal for me of like this is my favorite manga. Like One Piece was hold up. One Piece was my favorite manga for a long time, a long, long time. And I think reading through Blue Lock and making content eventually wore it down to being my favorite. How many volumes are there? I think there's 32. I think there's 32. I think Loki's might have been 33. Let's look this up. Blue Lock volumes. So, in terms of English, I don't think like Charles's volume is out in English. Yeah, Loki's is 33. So as far as I know, I think Zantetsu's a volume 30 is to where we're at now in series or in English like physical copy manga, which goes to Kaiser's Goal. So Kaiser's Goal just got put into like the actual English stuff. Um Egoist shafts. You love my analysis of it. I appreciate that. Do I reckon the NEL teams all go against each other if we see their all go against each other again with all their evolutions results? So you're saying like at the peaks of their play, do I still think like do I think the results would be the same? I think Basta München and PXG would still be on top. Manshine's it's so hard to say because like a fully awakened, motivated Nagi, a fully awakened, motivated striker and midfielder Ryo plus Chigiri. I think the rankings will still be the same just because of like the core players, the amount of core players on each team. Um, what are my opinions on Shido getting a higher bid than Bada? I think it makes sense. Um, I'll explain that now though. So like the people who say that like Shido getting more than Bada doesn't make sense don't understand the value. The value doesn't equate to skill. It equates to how much the club values you as a person, as a player, right? And by this, Shido is valued more than by PXG than Bado is by Ubers. And that to me makes sense, right? Shido was like one of the first people to ever link up with Charles and form a chemical reaction with him that sparked his awakening. And for those who want to say it didn't, it did spark his awakening. Like the consistent need to pass to Shido for almost the entirety of the game. Yeah, that sparked his awakening, right? And because of the purpose of Charles coming to the NEL and PXG in general, coming there to awaken Charles to then awaken Loki to allow for Loki to surpass Noah, the fact that Shido is one of the most compatible with Charles to allow for that awakening to spark is very highly valuable. And because PXG lost Rain to Real, they're going to need to pay more for Shido to make sure that they don't lose him too. So they're going to inflate his bid a little more. That's why, right? That's why he has a high bid. How many chapters until the manga will end? I'd say another 300, maybe. I'd say we're about halfway, maybe. I'd say we're about halfway done. Maybe a little over half, but I'd say we're about there. Do I watch or read Invincible? Yes. I don't read Invincible. I've gotten spoiled on a lot of stuff, which is what I think sucks about the Invincible community. But I am fully caught up on season 3. So, sorry. I watched the Conquest fight. I thought the Conquest fight was really good. Hot take, I think the best moment from that fight was Oliver sliding in and decking Conquest. That punch and turn was so clean, and I love that. One Piece got replaced by BLUELOCK. One was way too long for my liking and didn't like how it was going. And how it didn't end how you thought it was going to. I don't mind Wano, right? I think the pacing was crap, but I was gonna watch it anyways. I just think I've gotten less attached to One Piece. Like I used to read the One Piece chapters every single week. And now I'll read the spoiler summary, but I won't even read the actual chapter. Like I'm not motivated to read it. It's still a great series. Highly recommend One Piece. But it's more in line with my buddy and I, my best friend, for like over a decade, almost 2 decades. I've been friends with this motherfucker. We pretty much watch every episode of the anime together. So as a new episode watches, we'll pull up Crunchyroll and we'll time it so we start at the same time and we'll watch through it together. And we usually will do that. And I think it's good now going into like Egghead, the rest of Egghead, and going into Elbaf. I know nothing. I know stuff, but I barely know like the actual events of what's happening. But yeah, I think One Piece is something you should definitely try. If it's not your thing, that's totally fine. What happened to the Ember chapter reviews? Yeah, so I enjoyed covering Embers, but my fans and my subs and the view rates on those videos didn't do as well as I thought they were going to do. So I just decided I'm not gonna cover it. I'll read it myself because I still am reading it. Actually, before the stream started, I was gonna start at 11:30, but I actually decided, hey, I'm gonna read. Like, I pulled up Manga Plus on my phone and I actually started reading through Embers. Um, Sorry, I'm so tired all the time, and it's horrible with me. I don't know why I'm so tired all the time. But I read through the Embers chapter. I really am liking the series. I like the direction it's going, and it feels like Haikyuu to me. And I think like soccer version of Haikyuu, 100% gonna read that and enjoy it. So I'm not covering Embers anymore, just because the return on the investment wasn't high enough. Like the views weren't that were coming in weren't enough of the effort I was putting out towards the video. So it just wasn't worth it when I could dedicate more of my time to another anime. If Embers does really big in the future, because like Blue Lock was good, but it spiked at the U20 arc. So if Embers gets to a point where it spikes, I'll then come back and cover it again. You wish the writing could have been better at different times to highlight characters and dynamics. Like Hiyori intentionally not passing to Isagi PhD during the moment when he couldn't keep up. Cool character moment. Yeah, I thought it was great. I thought it was great. But yeah, anyways, it's about time we go ahead and we cover our predictions for chapter 298. So let's go to 298. Let me pull this up real quick. Let me just there we go. Let me pull this up here. So in relation to everything here, right? I don't think we're gonna get another Ryo goal. Right? I don't think we'll get another Ryo goal. I think getting a Ryo assist is very, very likely. Alfredo, what videos give you the most return on? Like the normal Blue Lock chapter reviews give me a ton of return investment. Like, here, like, my video covering the episode Rain spinoff, 30,000 views. That was a very good investment. I didn't expect it to get more than just a couple K, but I needed something to fit on that slot because I had no videos planned. It did better than I expected. Normal episode chapter breakdowns, they do really good too. My Noah and Ego backstory theory, that one did 11.7. That's good in return investment. I would consider anything over 5K a good return investment. Yeah, I just shaved before stream. I don't like growing it out. I just get lazy sometimes, and I forget to do it. But yeah, anything that usually hits over 5K is what I would consider good return on investment. Like my matchup video between Sai, Kaiser, and Lorenzo didn't do as well. It's sitting at 4.6 now, but I don't knock that simply because I enjoyed making the matchup video. It was a lot of work, and it's been highly requested for a while. And so even though it's been a while, I think it's going to I hope people like stuff like that if I continue to do this in the future. What's my top 5 NEL players at the moment? Do I count new Gen 11s? Like, do I count like Lorenzo? Do I count Sai? Do I count Lorenzo? Do I count Kaiser? No, Charles isn't, but do I count Charles? Is it just straight blue lockers or what's the deal? Raise the volume of my mic. Man, my volume is high. If you guys can't hear me well, it's not me. I've gone on my own phone and heard my audio through this. I look at my audio bars right here. It's crisp. So I don't know what to tell you, man. But yeah, as for like a rail goal, I don't think another rail goal is possible. Like the dialogue Rail has here, he says, like, sorry, I shot him. Like he didn't mean to shoot. He meant his intent was to pass, and he just did it instinctually. So I don't think like he's gonna score another goal. I think he's gonna be very like in tune. Like I need to pass to Nagi this time. But let's be honest, right? A Nagi goal is coming, right? Like a Nagi goal is coming. Metavision for your. Wait, hold up. Are you that Metavision? Hold up. Are you that Metavision? Hold up. Holy crap, it is you. Oh my god, hey man. I didn't realize that was you for a minute. What's up? How you doing, bro? I didn't realize that was gonna be you. Alright. Yeah, so Nagi's definitely scoring. Right? Nagi is 100% scoring. I saw some people saying that Nishioka was subbing on for Chris and he was going to assist. But I think even if that does happen and we do see Nishioka do something, he's not getting a high enough bid to survive, right? Like I would put that in the same level as like Kiora. Only difference is that we've seen more from Kiora, which would assume why I believe he would survive over Someone like Nishioka. But um, as for my bid value prediction, I do think Nagi is going to get. I think Nagi is going to place fifth. Like if we go here, go to 246. 246 is the chapter we get the previous bids. I think. Yeah, here we go. So 246. Why did I come back here again? Oh, okay, yeah. Bachata is currently sitting at 79 million. With him having a goal and getting an assist, you could argue he reaches 100 million. However, I don't think he will. I think Bachata is sitting just below 100 million, like 97, seems pretty likely. I think Nagi is not going to cross 100 million, but I think he's going to surpass Bachata and sit at 100 million. So he would be fifth place at 100 million, and I think Bachata would be 97 million. I also think in terms of value, I think Rail might get like 55 million yen total if he assists, that is. But I don't know. I don't know, really, honestly. I think it's very interesting for what we could get or what could happen. But I think a Nagi goal is definitely coming. But I'm curious as to how it's gonna be. I wonder if it's gonna be like a goal that's insane, like the 5-stage fake volley, or the 2 or like his jumping turn. If it's gonna be something iconic to Nagi, because those two goals are incredibly iconic for Nagi. So is this going to be another iconic goal, or is it going to be just an awakening goal, like Isagi's final goal for PXG, right? His goal that he scored there, it wasn't necessarily a iconic goal for Isagi because it was just a straight direct shot. I would say his twin gun volley is way more iconic. U98 dropped on Twitter. Ah, you almost got me there. You almost got me there, buddy. You almost got me. But just to check, I'm gonna check myself. Make sure it's all good. Do I think we'll see all of the bids? Yeah, I think the NEL is gonna end on chapter 300. Yeah, he's lying. Don't believe, bro. He's capping. You almost got me though. You almost got me though, bro. I'll give you that. Leaks come tomorrow. So tomorrow night is when leaks will drop. But anyways, sorry, I'm just like checking my TikTok and getting all the notifications out of the way. Anyways, um but it needs to be host can go back to the same problem where it can't do it again. See, that's the thing though, like the jumping turn trap shot is definitely something Nagi could reproduce. Just because Royale was able to do it. And I feel like if Royale can do it, like if Royale can copy your weapon, it's reproducible. And especially for Nagi, the jumping turn trap shot isn't anything different. The 5-stage is 100% crazy. But I want to know, is his next goal going to be something that's like unique to him, or I don't know. But yeah, I think that's all we have for right now. We'll turn this away and we'll do a couple of hot takes from you guys in the chat, and we'll go through and I'll do some debating of some stuff. But yeah, let's go through. Let's answer some of these questions. Ryo or Hiyori? Ooh. As a midfielder. Okay, this is so hard, right? Hiyori is 100% the best passer in Blue Lock, right? Best passer. But the awakening with chameleon style is so good. I think on preference, I would take Royale because I like Royale more. But I don't know if who's better there. I would take Royale. Does Nagi even have a goal scoring formula? Yeah, he has a goal scoring formula. Like Isagi has one, right? And everyone has a goal scoring formula. It just depends on like the circumstance of like Nagi's goal scoring formula is incoming pass. He uses a trap and then he takes a shot. Don't know if that counts, but Nagi's well, he's the same as Shido. Shido doesn't really have a goal scoring formula. He just does it. He just scores goals, which I don't think is the worst thing like possible. But I still think it's interesting. Will we get some like 10 buffer chapters and off to the training stage for the U20 and then maybe 10 more till that finishes? I don't know. I would like my theory was that they would go after this. It would be a training arc before the World Cup because we have 50 days. But honestly, after the NEL ends, I wouldn't even mind if the mangaka took like a 2-month break. Bro has been finishing up this huge arc. This is Blue Lock Phase 2 done. Blue Lock Phase 1 was up to the U20 game. This is Blue Lock Phase 2 completed. So like I'm very interested. I wouldn't mind if he took a break. Bro deserves it. Bro grind out content. He's insane. If I had to replace one of the fodder characters with some of the fodders, Haraki, Nishioka, Himizu, who would I swap with them? I would take. Do you count fodder as anyone who doesn't really have a lot of current screen time? Or does fodder count as someone who's just not good? I'll answer your question when you respond. Do I think Royal will finish higher than Nagi? No. I think Royal will get like 55 million, and I think Nagi will get 100. Yeah, I don't think the mangaka should go on hiatus, but I think he deserves a very long break. It also let us content creators be able to settle with the information we get, make a lot of theories, and get content going. There's a lot of potential we'd have if there is a break. Yes, not enough screen time. I would want Kiora to sub out for Tokimitsu. I think Kiora is a vastly more interesting character than Tokimitsu is, and I would rather him survive over Tokimitsu. Uh, 100 mil for one. No, I don't think he's gonna get an increase by that much. I think that's gonna be his end value. I think it'll be his end value. Why 55 million? Well, Ryo's previous bid after Mancham was 40 million. He's currently sitting at what's he sitting at? What's Ryo sitting at? 34 million. So I think 19 million for an increase isn't that crazy. Like I don't think that's an crazy like that crazy of a thing. Do I think it's still possible for the Nishioka agenda? No. Do I think Kyoto will return as a different country? I'm asking genuinely. No, I don't think he will. I don't think there's a purpose either. Do I believe the Nishioka hype? No, I do not. Like I don't think it makes enough sense for Nishioka to do anything and survive now. Who's my top 3 from Manshine? In terms of preference, I have Chigiri, Nagi, Rao. In terms of skill, I think they're all relative. I think that at their best performance, Nagi might be better just because he's naturally talented. But I can't believe motherfuckers think that Nagi will be in the top 5. Well, here's the deal. He would need to get an increase of 60 million yen, which is kind of crazy. However, Nagi's fan service, Nagi's comeback, and an awakening and a goal and the final winning goal, I do think would be crazy. Yeah, Ryo would actually get 2 assists if he assisted Nagi. So 2 assists and a goal. I think getting 55 million total bid is not that crazy. Who do I think will survive between Zantetsu or Nanase? Zantetsu. Is Chris Prince garbage? No. Why am I looking so goofy today? I got a haircut that like cut off a lot of my curls. But I had to cut it extra short. My girlfriend and I are going to a formal for her sorority in a couple weeks, and I need to have my hair grow out to a certain length to look really good. And I think that's like I want to I'm gonna look good for her, and I think my hair when it's a certain length is good. How how would you see a Nagi x Nez duo going? I don't know. That's interesting. I would think it's kind of be something similar to how Shido pushes players to be better. Ness would just push Nagi to be better by putting something that Nagi would have to awaken to. But that goes for a lot of them. Raito, what's up, man? If Shido can get 60 million for that performance, then Nagi definitely can too. It's not that crazy in my mind, but definitely, like, maybe he'll get his old bid value back of 88 million. I don't know. Who do I think will be the top 3 at the end of the series of Blue Lock? So, if we're talking new generation, I think Isagi. I think there's a good tie for Isagi, Loki, Kaiser, and Rain. Those 4 being the top. In any order. Opinion on Kaiser's arc. I think Kaiser's development is one of the best in the entire series. Chris Prince telling Ryo you can choose your own future, makes him one of your favorite masters. That's what Ryo always wanted to hear. Yeah, it's such. Chris Prince is so cool. There's a lot of characters that don't get appreciation because they're slacking. But if you take a look at it from the psychology aspect that the manga kind of writes itself around, I think it's really good. Do I think the author might do the 2022 World Cup story takes place 2018? I don't know. I don't know how they would do it. Wouldn't the Shido bid argument work for Nagi as well because Manchan doesn't have a striker? Well, they have Chigiri. Depends on what you consider to be a striker, right? Striker isn't necessarily a position on the pitch. It's a role that a player takes, right? Like, your center forward is traditionally going to play as a striker, right? But usually that position, even if it's called striker, it's usually dedicated as center forward. For, like, wingers, even they're considered to be strikers, right? Like, anyone who actually pursues the act of scoring goals is a striker. So Chigiri, despite playing on the winger, is a striker. Loki, despite playing on the wing, is a striker. Isagi, despite playing in the midfield, is a striker. Yuki Miya, even as a side back or a winger, he's a striker because his intent is to score goals. I think if any player intentionally goes out for the purpose of scoring goals, they are therefore playing as a striker. Why would Ryo only get a 15 million increase for a goal and 2 assists, but Nagi get a 60 million increase for 1 goal and nothing else? So it's the concepts of reawakening, right? Like, Ryo would get the 15 million just because, like, Nagi's goal would be the final goal of the game, and it would bring up it would bring up Nagi's final goal of the game, but also Nagi's comeback story. And comeback in fan service is such a huge thing. And Nagi's goal was the best goal of the century, the 5 stage. So scoring something again would kind of bring the hype back to him. So I feel like there's definitely a lot of, like, interesting stuff. TDA, bids are power levels. Kaneshiro placing Shido above Bato means the Shido is better. The PHG money thing is a headcanon just to justify what Bato is worth. No, it's not, and let me explain right now. Okay. Let me pull this up here, right? So, in terms of the values of the players, right? I think it was shown in this chapter right here. Okay. So, Shido was 160. Bato is 150. This doesn't mean that Shido is better than Bato, right? Because in the position, Bato has scored more goals. If you want to say that he's better, Shido, by definition, is worse than Bato because Bato has scored more goals, right? But you don't want to believe that logic. Or if that logic doesn't apply, let me give you another one. As I don't know much about football, right? But I've had a lot of fans and a lot of friends tell me that PSG, the club that PXG is inspired off of, inflate the values of their players because they have a lot of money to spend. In chapter, I think it was 153 or 152. Might be 152. Let's check 152. It's 150. It's 153. So, in terms of France, France is considered the new young upstart of the European leagues. In recent years, has burgeoned into the largest market thanks to an influx of prominent investors. It's become a hot place, running on its way to becoming the top league in Europe. So, one of the things right here is literally big money. Like, the fact that their thing is represented that they have a lot of money to spend proves that there is a justification for Shido having more money, having a higher bid, simply because he goes to France where they can pay out a higher bid. And Shido himself isn't better than Bato. It's a matter that PXG values Shido more than Barū is valued by Ubers. That's how the bidding system works. It's how much the clubs value you as a player. Like, excuse me, I had a burp. Because PXG just lost Rain, one of the players who helped awaken Charles, they have to put in extra money for Shido to keep Shido in, because if they don't, they just lost the only two players who have been able to work seamlessly with Charles so far. So that's the context there. How much do I think Bachira and Atoya would receive for their bids? Let's see this. Let's see their bid values. Thoughts on the 3-goal system? I don't mind it. I think the 3-goal system can be good. We were actually thinking of pursuing the 3-goal system for the New World movie. Just given the context of the situation, but I think we're gonna scrap that idea and just go for whoever has more goals at the end of 90 minutes. To give more the U20 vibe. We want aspects of the U20 team, U20 arc, but also the NAL. So we're trying to lean into how much of. No man, that's Cope. No one's bid on Shido since the first round, and if PXG has so much money, why not counter bid for Ring? Because Real is the strongest club in the world, just by reputation. Even if PXG did bid higher, it's likely that they might go for Real, as long as the gap isn't significant. No one's bid on Shido since the first round. Let's go. I'm pretty sure someone bid on Shido last round. Might have been Ajax. But let's go. What was the last? Oh, hold on. Yeah, it was this exact same chapter here. We don't know who bid on Shido. We just know they got 100 million. But I think we know. I think we can assume it's PXG, as far as I'm aware. If PXG has so much money, why not counter bid for Rain? Just given the reputation of Real, right? But they're having to inflate Shido's bid slightly to give him more motivation to stay at PXG. They gave Rain like 200 million, right? But also the whole thing, with Rain actively sold for PXG. Like, he actively refused to take a shot that would have scored him a goal for the purpose of his own ego. So PXG's not gonna want him to play for them, because he essentially just sold. He could have sold them the game there. It was never confirmed for viewers of like the owners of the club. There was no confirmation that Ring was gonna get the chance to score again. So in their eyes, he sold on them scoring and surviving and having another chance at winning. They don't want him to play for them anymore. So they probably didn't bid as high for Rain anymore because they don't want that. But because Rain isn't there anymore, they want Shido more because Shido was a player who helped awaken Charles. It's very, like, there's so many factors you have to consider aside. The bids are not power scaling. The bids are value scaled. How much does the clubs want these players? That's just how it is. It's not power scaling. It's value scaling. How much do they value these players based on what they could bring to the team? Yeah, also Loki badmouth. He literally said you would have been banned for life. He obviously wouldn't, but there's still going to be criticism for his performances. So to say that, like, the thing of Cope that Shido has more value than Barū isn't Cope. It's just that Barū played one less game than Shido, and Shido contributed more to what PXG wants for them as a club than what Barū did. Barū took over Ubers. That's not what Ubers wants. They took over for Snuffy. He took over the entire team, which led to them losing. So obviously, there's going to be some issues. Well, obviously, you have to have power to be desired, but does it not make sense that Shido would be a very good player when paired with Charles, and therefore would they not want to have they want to leverage Shido to come play for them, even if it means paying a little more money? Can Nagi get an offer from Real? He could, doesn't mean he will. Like, if you have, I think Shido. Well, yeah, none of the top 23 are going to get the offer right now. None of them are going to take the offer. They're all going to be playing for the U20 team. After the World Cup, sure, I could see Shido going to PXG and playing with Charles. 100% I could see that happening. But I don't know. The reason that Shido was higher than Baro is because Baro wasn't good enough. Baro was good. It's just that his mindset led to Uber's losing. Baro has the physical stats, temperament, and overall skills to be a really good forward. It's just that his actions of dethroning Ubers and not following Snuffy's ideologies led to Ubers losing the game. And it relates to like the thing of like your ego costing you. Like Bado and Rain, they played with their ego in mind, right? They played for what they desired and how they really wanted to play. It's just that their ways of playing led to their teams losing. What was Ego's promise to Baratsuda? I don't know. It might have been implied something different. But I think it does relate to like the Ego backstory with Noah and potentially stuff like that. May I remind you that Bado had team built around him scoring. Well, it's not as well. That's not too crazy. I mean, PXG did the same thing for Rain and Shido. Honestly, every team in the NEL has been made to support a character. Like Barcha was made to support Bachira, and like even Atoya was supporting Bachira. Um, Manchan was made to support Nagi, with the exception of Ryo and Chigiri. If given the opportunity to score their own goals, they can do so. Um, Ubers was strictly made for Bado because there was no other strikers. Like, you had Sendo, but there was no other strikers who chose to go to Ubers. Um, and then for PXG, there were two formations made to support both Rain and Shido individually, and then they merged them for the final game. Why is FC Barcha so weak in the NEL? Because they don't have none of the core blue lockers chose to go there. Bachara and Atoya are the only two prominent blue lockers who have any purpose in the story or will who chose to go to Barcha. So it's not that Barcelona is bad. It's just that the players who went there were not good. Wait, but if Lorenzo played against PXG, doesn't that mean that Shido scored on Lorenzo's head? I don't know. We don't know if Lorenzo played though. If he did, potentially. If not, no. The reason I say Lorenzo didn't play is because Lorenzo, working with Baro to refine his Predator Eye, likely didn't play that game to throw off any kind of formation. But again, that's just speculation. Um, in relation to, and we also like saw both Rain and Cheeto free. I feel like if Lorenzo was playing, he would have marked one of them. Uh, we'll do a couple more. We'll do a few more minutes of this, and then we'll go into the videos. Um, there are people who didn't like Kaiser's development after he joined Isagi, and that they aren't a good duo. What's my opinion on that? I think that they are a good duo. I think the issue though is that Kaiser playing that way is not the way he can awaken. Kaiser thrives in freedom, but he evolves in restriction. Right? In order for Kaiser to play his best and awaken, he needs the restriction aspect. And by playing with Isagi, he was never given the restriction. He was always given freedom. So it always kept him like level at like, sure, Kaiser playing at his best, or Kaiser playing in freedom, we're given the freedom environment, can play at this level, very very high level, right? But in order for him to awaken, he needs to have the restriction, which can, and if playing in restriction, he can go up to this level. But because he's only playing in freedom, his cap is here. But Isagi, who works with him, slowly reaches that level because he's Kaiser supporting him. And then because he thrives and evolves in freedom, he will therefore surpass Kaiser if given freedom. I think it's a matter of like understanding the context of freedom and restriction, but also Kaiser's character. Um, that game is weird because who scored the 2 goals for Ubers? Probably the Ubers players. Because just like Bastard, there are players for Ubers who were forwards before. So they likely had someone score goals. I don't think Sendo would have, because I don't think Sendo played in the first game. We see the values in what, 170, I think we see. The first values. No, it's 169. Um Okay, no, it should be 171. Wait, no, who scored the goal? I'm so lost on where we get the bid values. Maybe 172. I don't know. Bottom line, though, I don't think Sendo's played first time. To be honest, Kaiser could have screwed Isagi over if he just said no. What was Isagi supposed to say then? Well, the thing is, it was mutually beneficial, right? Like, Kaiser wanted to, like, surpass Noah's expectations, but also beat Rain. Isagi wanted to beat Rain. And Kaiser also wanted to win, and by working with Isagi, it very much so secured his bid value to Real. So that's just like the situation. Was it 169? I don't know what chapter it was. We know Kunigami got one. They got one. Kaiser got one. Oh wait, I think it was 170. I think 170 like is where we did see the stats. Here we go. See, Shido got a bid. Yeah, so Sendo is, where is Sendo's player icon? Here we go. Sendo's right here. So Sendo did not play in Ubers. So it was just the Ubers players. Anyways, let's get into the video reactions. So the first video I very much wanted to watch is this one made by Sizzles. BLUELOCK, What Got Lost in Translation. I think this is the one he recommended. Yeah, this one. It was BLUELOCK, What You Missed. So I really want to watch this video, and I've been wanting to watch it for so long. So, yeah. Are you guys ready to peep it? I'll wait till you guys are ready. As soon as I see the first yes, I'm starting it. This video is very good. All right, let's we will start it then.
For most of you, I presume, your engagement with weeb media is mediated through translations. And there are some absolutely brilliant translators out there, and that very much includes BLUELOCK's official translator Nate Durr. Nevertheless, some linguistic details and nuances invariably get lost in translation. Now, the past few months, a close friend of mine who's been learning Japanese has read BLUELOCK in the original, and that's been an absolute joy of an experience on my end. She's shared loads of observations with me that I wasn't aware of, and helped me out with several linguistic queries for past videos. And
see, that's what's cool, is that like that's even what's a struggle right now with translations, right? Like in relation to stuff like that, I used to use PO2 for my translations because I wasn't ever able to find the officials or find a place I could read the officials. And I wasn't planning on paying for them at that point when I was reading. So I was using PO2 for a lot of my stuff. So like now I'm rereading the NEL for videos, and there's so much I missed and got taken out of translation wrong because of the context of poor translations. So like, all right, see you, Hamid. But like, even the officials are messing stuff up. That's interesting. That gets me very That gets me very interested. I'll turn it up a little bit.
During the process, I've been steadily accumulating notes from some of the most enjoyable discussions about Blue Lock I've ever had. And, well, what are friends really for if not to supply you with content to garner validations from strangers on the internet, right? So, I'm about to drop some absolute bombshells about details that everyone who only experiences Blue Lock through translation, which to be honest very much includes myself usually as well, might have been missing out on. Hello, my name is Sean, and I can't tell you how much joy this project has been for my inner philologists. Also, if you like what I do and want to help me fund custom artwork for the channel, consider signing up for my Patreon. My patrons also get access to my weekly podcast where I set out my first thoughts on the new Blue Lock chapter. So if that sounds interesting to you, do consider checking it out. So, since
Yeah, go check out Sizzles. Sizzles' content is so good. I love this dude. He makes some of the best content, like analysis content I've ever seen. Like, I think Sizzles gaps me by a mile. If you think my analysis is good, his gaps me by a mile. Like, please go check him out.
Since I don't want to waste any more of your time, let me give you some of my absolute favorites right off the bat. This is from Barrow's second goal in the Ubers match. In translation, it reads, "And if the day comes where I can't become the #1 king in the world, I'd rather go out in a blaze of glory." Well, this is by all means a perfectly serviceable English rendition of the surface level meaning of the passage. One key detail gets lost in translation. In the Japanese, Barrow says, "Let me die graciously. Isagiyoku shinde yaru yo." In case you didn't catch it, the term graciously is quite remarkable in Japanese because it's literally the character for Isagi's name. Yes, Isagi
Really?
means something akin to gracious, righteous, or noble. Yet, this is more than just a silly pun. It goes to the heart of Barrow's greatest character moment in the NEL. Barrow's awakening in the Ubers match took place because he'd been humiliated by Isagi. His subsequent rejection of the Uber system is, in that light, his last-ditch effort to finally surpass Isagi, and failure corresponds to sinking into the deepest pits of despair. In essence, Barrow is fully conscious that he's wagering his very life with his attack to measure up against his greatest rival, meaning if he doesn't succeed, he'll accept death Isagi-yoi, graciously, but also by implication at Isagi's hands. This point
That's cool as hell. Like, that provides even more evidence, right? For like why Bado is considered one of Isagi's greatest rivals. And I think that's just so fucking cool. Like personally, I love Bado. I'm not like I'm not the biggest fan of Bado, but like I love his character rivalries with others. I like his rivalry with other characters. Because I think he presents a really good realistic perspective on things. Right? Like there's the mindset people want to be the best, but who has the will, the ambition, the drive, and the confidence to follow it through? And I think that's something really interesting when it comes to Bado and his character, as well as his rivalry with other characters. But also, like, I gotta show this to Crocodile. I gotta show this to him. He would love this.
one appears in another place as well. In chapter 284, when Isagi tells Loki to be a man and admit that you lost. In the original, the line goes Isagiyoku makemashitatte ieo. Just graciously admit that you lost. But again, the underlying implication is admit that you lost to Isagi. Next one, and just as a warning, this is going to be quite vulgar. just to stay true to the spirit of the manga, of course. Don't think that I'm deriving any pleasure from this whatsoever. So, there's a line that always popped out to me in the Manshine match. It's when Isagi chastises Yukimiya by calling him a masturbatory narcissist. And this one requires a bit of unpacking to fully make sense of it. In Kaisa's first interaction with Isagi, he flirtatiously establishes his place at the top of the hierarchy. And that's what Noah calls him out for. Now, in the Japanese, Noah says, "Ikage naose, sono mountokuse." That's enough of that mountain habit. The term mounto here is an English loanword that's originally used to describe an animal's reproductive behavior.
What?
Say, like how them doggies get it on.
Man, what the?
At some point, though,
Sizzle. Sizzles, come on. Come on, bro. What are you doing? What was that? Bro. This is kind of funny, though.
Japanese turned it into a figure of speech for acts that aim to assert dominance. And note how BLUELOCK activates both of the term's connotations at the start of the NEL. By describing Kaisa as Mountain Isagi, we understand that he's performing a form of power play, but also, by implication, that he wants to fuck like animals. Mountain behaviors get associated with Kaisa again when Chris Prince sizes him up in the Manshine match. Prince here chastises Kaisa for mounting weaker players while running away from those above him. So that now brings us to Isagi and Yukimiya. In Japanese...
Here's the thing though, right? I get, right, that like the dialogue here is different when it's translated to English. Like there's a little bit of stuff getting lost in translation. But it's not exactly that important, right? Like, for example, the point on Kaiser, right? The point on Kaiser with like the power play and like the reference to animals. That's all fine and dandy, right? But like the same intention and the same like dialogue and meaning was understood without the reference, right? Like if this video is strictly made to be like things like, I guess the things that were getting lost in translation, but like things that were like misinterpreted, that's what I was expecting. I was expecting to get some new information that got like lost in translation, or got misinterpreted, but also like would change my perspective on stuff. This doesn't seem to be that. This seems to be like, this dialogue here leans more into character. It just seems like another way of rewording it, right? Like the whole thing with Kaiser and the straight up, we didn't need him to say that he's like that he likes targeting weaker players or like he likes like making a show of himself. We didn't need like the dialogue of all that. We pretty much could understand that without that connotation. It's like I don't know.
So that now brings us to Isagi and Yukimiya. In Japanese, Yukimiya doesn't call his teammate a self-serving shithead, but rather a mounto kusoyaro, a mountain shithead, just like Kaisa. That's the comparison Yukimiya makes between the two. Isagi is unconsciously striving to dominate his teammates in the same way as Kaisa, and this is the ground on which he rejects Isagi's proposal. Yet, at its core, mountain is a metaphor derived from a sexual act, and that's what you need to understand the most vulgar retort in the series. Since Yukimiya is essentially refusing to be fucked by Isagi, the only remaining means for him to get off now is to wank all alone. And yes, that's in the Japanese as well, where Isagi calls him a self-conscious self-pleasurer. But to cap that off, let's go to the next page. In Japanese, Isagi's way of saying keep dreamin' is actually quite remarkable. He tells him to kimochi yoi yume daite, to pleasurably embrace his dream. Now, the first thing that I have to note here is, at least as far as I understand, the most common expression for dreamin' wouldn't be yume daku, embracing a dream, but rather yume miku, seeing a dream. So on one level, Isagi is using a marked expression here because he's dealing with leukemia at the height of his figurative and literal blindness. By implication, he's no longer in a state where he can even see his dreams at all. Now, there is another way of saying to dream in Japanese, which is yume idaku. Idaku also means to embrace, like daku, but it's typically used much more figuratively or conceptually. So you would idaku a dream because that's not describing an actual physical act. So to say yume daku instead heavily emphasizes the physicality of leukemia's embrace. And in that light, it's quite interesting that this verb daku that's being used in a highly remarkable context can also be employed as a euphemism for lovemaking. And given that
So, like, you know how, like, some people try to make BLUELOCK seem gayer than it is? Do people in Japan, like, who are reading the actual Japanese, interpret this as being way more sexual than we do? Because, like, as far as I know, some of the dialogue, sure, but it's mostly the images that people are like, oh yeah, this is very sexual, like, demeanor and remarks and physical behavior and posturing. But, like, in Japan, are they reading it like this is actual gay? Is this actual gay is this gay boy love manga? What the fuck? I don't know.
Isagi has just chastised leukemia for following his irrational desires rather than being mounted by his teammate like a good boy, which he equates to a figurative act of masturbation. I'd say it's not hard to imagine that him pleasurably embracing his dream has some further connotations here as well. Also, just to touch a bit more on how you typically see dreams in Japanese. That association, I think, explains why leukemia is among the characters most strongly connected with the concept of dreams throughout the story. In particular, this adds an extra layer of significance to his moment of despair upon receiving his diagnosis. Leukemia begs his doctor to give him back his dream because in Japanese, losing his sight means losing his ability to dream concurrently. Let me turn to something completely different now, which is by far the most important factor preventing anyone from furnishing a perfectly accurate translation of BLUELOCK, and that's a device called Gikun. As many of you undoubtedly know, Japanese has two scripts. The kana script, where each character corresponds to a particular syllable, and the logographic kanji script, where characters roughly represent a single word or concept. And for all you nerds out there who are furiously typing up comments about how Japanese has three scripts, actually, just realize that by that logic, English has two scripts as well, uppercase and lowercase. Anyways, I digress. Since even the Japanese have realized that it's a tall order for younger readers to have internalized 2,000 hieroglyphs through rote memorization just to read a comic strip, shonen manga like BLUELOCK typically provide kana subtitles for its kanji characters, which are known as furigana. Just have a look at this page here. Here's a kanji, and right above, in minuscule print, it's written in kana, the furigana. That'll make sense, right? But here's where it gets wonky. At some point,
We're learning so much shit in this video. Like, like, when will 298 leaks be available? They will be available likely tomorrow night. So if you're EST, it'll be around 12 to 2 a.m. Tuesday. Monday to Tuesday. It's not. I don't think they'll drop tonight. Here's the thing, though. It depends on what time zone they are in, right? Because like for me, leaks drop at 12 a.m. And he's saying tomorrow, but does that mean it's dropping tonight? I don't know. We'll see.
Japanese authors started reverse engineering the furigana system for foreign words. When you use terms that don't have a kanji reading, you can, as it were, slap a kanji underneath to either provide a Japanese equivalent to the loanwords, or, which is what we'll be mostly concerned with here, to add some extra connotations to the phrase. And that phenomenon is called gikun. Let me give you an example, and that'll also make it clear why it's extremely difficult to translate writing that relies heavily on gikun. This is the spread from the climax of Rin's awakening in the U20 match, with his internal monologue going, "Ore wa egoisto, Rin itoshi nandayo." I'm the egoist, Rin itoshi. And that's also what you hear when you listen to the anime. However, in the manga, the loan word egoist, the one in brackets, is positioned above 3 kanji characters that read Hakaisha, destroyer. For all intents and purposes, Rin isn't thinking egoisto and Hakaisha concurrently. In this instance, the gikun here also doesn't provide the closest translation of the loanwords. Rather, the manga is suggesting that in this specific context, there exists some correspondence between being an egoist and a destroyer. Realize though how strange all of this actually is. After all, the kanji in this instance are completely superfluous and don't even correspond to the term in kana. From what I understand, copious use of gikun is most prominent in battle manga and isekai stories, and it oftentimes comes across as somewhat cheesy. Just for comparison, you'd get a similar experience if I added unrelated subtitles to everything I said about gikun in this video. It probably won't surprise you that a literary device that inhabits the fault line between poetry and edginess abounds in BLUELOCK, and that poses a whole series of challenges to its translators. Let me show you 2 different professional translations of the I'm Rin Itoshi scene from the U20 match. In the official French translation, we find "Je suis Rin Itoshi, je suis un individualiste." I'm Rin Itoshi, I'm an egoist. Basically, the translator has in this instance chosen to simply convey Rin's actual words and leave out the gikun.
Sorry, I got locked in on that video. I said nothing for a couple minutes. When will it drop in Florida, for example? I'm Zora EST. Yeah, I'm in Florida too. It'll probably drop 12 a.m. 12 a.m. to 2 a.m. But like, here's the deal, right? I get that like the context of these things, right? But like from what you've shown, Sizzles, like the translations, it's not far off from what we're getting, and it's not too important that it's too different, right? Like, for example, the dialogue with Kaiser, right, or the dialogue with Noreen here, we understand the context of like the original translations through the official ones that we get from the manga and the anime. Where do I study? I'm in South Florida, but yeah, I don't know.
Reading altogether. Conversely, the official English translation has I'm Rin Itoshi, the egotistic destroyer, effectively conflating what Rin actually says with the supporting kanji read-ins. Now, you could easily argue that the English version is the superior translation because it adds in the extra layer of nuance that's present in the original, and from that come to the conclusion that this is the best way to convey Gikun in general. However, in many instances, that would make the dialogue come across as highly unnatural or artificial in translation. Just as an extreme example, here's a spread from chapter 141. Isagi says, Yatemiro kaibutsu, and Bachira, Sukondero egoisto, just try it, monster. Don't get in my way, egotists. However, the terms kaibutsu, monster, and egoisto are gikuns with kanji reading Bachira Meguru and Isagi Yoichi.
That's kind of cool.
This clarifies that Isagi means Bachira when he's calling someone a monster, and vice versa. More relevantly, however, the Gikun underscores that Bachira truly is the monster, and Isagi the egotist. After all, this moment segues directly into the scene with Bachira's monster trance, where he finally aligns his playstyle with his true nature. But that still leaves me with the question, how would you translate this spread most elegantly? Would you just leave out the names in Gikun altogether, like in the official English translation? Or maybe have Isagi say something like, just try it, Bachira, you monster. If you have strong opinions on the matter, go fight about it in the comments or something. So, with that much too extensive preamble out of the way, let me just pelt you with some interesting Gikun read-ins. When Anri speaks about producing players who can lead Japan to a World Cup victory in Chapter 1, the loanword player is coupled with kanji reading Kyuseishu, which means savior or messiah. By implication, the greatest egoist striker is also the one who will bring salvation to Japanese football. In the same chapter, Isagi regrets failing to become a superstar player like Noel Noah. The Japanese also read superstar in the furigana, but the term is glossed with two terms in kanji, eiyu, hero, and senshu, athlete. I've talked quite a few times already about the importance of heroism in BLUELOCK, and this kanji reading establishes that from a very early stage. The world's best striker is also primed to be the greatest hero. This idea is expressed most explicitly by Kunigami, to whom professional footballers are like real-life superheroes. It's therefore highly significant that the first reference to Noel Noah equates the football superstar to a hero. As the world's best striker, he is currently the reigning hero of the football world. Let me take this even a step further. There are several other instances where someone is called a superstar, including the World 5 and the Master Strikers. Yet, in each of these instances, the term is written in katakana only, or with other kanji. So even figures like Lavinio and Prince are just superstars, not athlete heroes. However, there is one superstar who Isagi also deigns a hero, Michael Kaiser, after bringing about the impossible with his goal in the PXG match. More specifically, the term superstar is here glossed as Chō-eiyu, superhero. So basically, the reason why Isagi was spellbound by Kaiser's goal isn't just because Kaiser proved himself as an exceptional footballer, but because he unveiled himself as a star in the image of Isagi's childhood hero. That's what's being implied with these parallel read-ins. With that in mind,
okay, I will say that's kind of cool. That is kind of interesting. I think that's kind of cool. That he like labels Kaiser in the same way that he labels Noah, at least in terms of like how he views them as players. I think that's a really nice comparison. What do you guys think?
The very next big character moment for Kaiser in the PXG match also takes on.
So he speaks a little slow. I'm gonna speed it up just slightly. Sorry, Sizzles, you talk a little slow.
Much deeper significance. Here, Noah outright declares that he recognizes in Kaiser a player with the potential to rival even himself, and admits that he joined the NEL to raise his protege into a true hero. In other words, the moment that Kaiser comes into his own as a superstar hero directly segues into Noah unveiling that this was his master plan all along. Okay, let's talk about some of BLUELOCK's conceptual jargon. One of the key concerns of the NEL, and the PXG match in particular, is the concept of originality. The Japanese version also uses the English term originality, but has this accompanied with a massive string of Gikun kanji. The first pair of kanji is the prefix jiko, meaning self. The second set reads doku sosei, which appears to be a relatively rare term, but it means creativity. So basically, the loan word originality is being glossed as one's self-creativity. Realizing this puts another piece into place for me, Lavigno's football philosophy. From the start of the NEL, it's made clear that you need to demonstrate your originality if you want to flourish in the cutthroat world of European football. Soon after, Barcha's master provides guidance on how to discover your originality, by finding your unique image and expressing it to the world. And so, when he exhorts Bachira to evolve his monster to the next stage, the Japanese version has the master tell his new disciple that his originality, which is as usual glossed as self-creativity, will be his guidepost to becoming the world's best. And so, Bachira scoring the first goal in the NEL right after this narratively confirms that he's the first of the Blue Lock candidates to have discovered his originality. Moreover, it's no coincidence that a Barça player would be the first to do so. After all, Spain is the country of playfulness and creativity, so it's perfectly fitting that its master would be the best in fostering his players' so-called self-creativity. Here's another favorite Blue Lock concept, metavision. At risk of becoming completely repetitive, the term metavision is also used in Japanese, accompanied with a kanji reading to clarify it. This Gikun translation is comprised of two terms, choetsu, transcendence, and shikai, field of vision. So basically, metavision's Japanese rendition becomes something akin to transcendent view. Transcendence, though, that's an interesting term, isn't it? After all, this is a philosophical term that signifies reaching a higher plane of existence, and it's often connected with the divine. And yeah, metavision is explicitly presented as a godlike view that transcends two-dimensional thought processes. So it's interesting that the kanji reading underscores this as the concept's core feature.
This brings up the question, though. This is a little later, right? TDA, does Noah see Kaiser as a greater future rival than Loki? I think he views Kaiser as someone with the closest potential to surpass him, along with Loki. Like, Loki right now is the biggest threat to him, but he knows he can crush Loki. He thinks Kaiser is someone who can actually give him a challenge, I think that's how he interpreted it. But the Lavigno part that was mentioned in before, does that make Lavigno a better striker than Noah? Or not striker, better master striker, like as a coach and a mentor? I don't know.
Yet, there's even more here if we dissect the two kanji that comprise shikai. The first character is from the verb miru, to view or observe. The second one, kai, means world or boundary. So, shikai quite literally means to view the world. And realize here what metavision represents for Isagi's arc in the NEL. Isagi's acquisition of metavision demarcates the moment that our protagonist for the first time visualizes himself as beating the entire world. Unlike how he failed to imagine himself competing on a world-class level beforehand. Now, I'm far from the first to observe that metavision appears to be restricted to world-type egotists. But this is underscored by its kanji reading. After all, metavision is fundamentally the ability to view the world. Finally, a
What
conclusion
the wait, hold
is
up.
but this is underscored by its kanji reading.
What? Best cauliflower recipe. Break a cauliflower head into flour, fry in oil for 12 minutes, sprinkle in salt. Next, saute 2 to 3 onions and mix together the sauce. 4 milliliters of water, 200 grams of tahini, 3 cloves of minced garlic. What? What? Hold up. Was I like not locked? Why is there a... Hold up. You think, football fan, you think Loki's the worst master? Why? Why would you say Loki's the worst master? Also, why is there a cauliflower recipe on my screen? Can anyone explain that to me? Is it that's Sozo's originality?
After all, metavision is fundamentally the ability to view the world. Finally, I'll conclude the video with a few cute little details. Let's talk about Tabito Karas for a moment. Karas has two signature insults, dunce and mediocre. The first is aho in Japanese, and that term is associated with Kansai dialects, the dialect Karas and Hyori speak, because it's considered a somewhat endearing insult in Western Japan. But in addition, there's also a bit of a pun going on here. Aho is the sound that crows utter in Japanese. Aho! Aho! Aho ka! So by saying aho all the time, Karas actually sounds like a crow. Then the second one. Readers of episode Nagi will know that Karas's entire worldview is warped by his deep-seated belief that he's a mediocre person. The Japanese term here is bon, mediocre. For instance, when he harasses Isagi in the third selection, he constantly calls him bon. However, when he first links up with Charles, Karas comments that Loki's protege is the exact opposite of himself. Charles is not mediocre, but a rarity. Or, in Japanese, not a bon, but a hibon. Charles then caps this off with a bilingual pun. He responds, c'est bon, which is French for that's good. This is by far not the only example of Blue Lock characters copying each other's speech patterns to indicate that they're fully in sync. Later in the same match, Isagi takes on Kurona's habit of repeating words, and in Japanese, they even rhyme. Kurona goes vantsu vantsu, and Isagi then chokutsu chokutsu. Or in the Ubers match, Don Lorenzo has this odd speech tick where he ends many of his sentences with okay, as in the English words. So then, when the Ubers have come into their own as a team, that's underscored by the entire team taking over Lorenzo's speech pattern. I'm aware that this is
That's
also
cool.
reflected in the English translation to a certain extent, but it comes across much stranger in the original, where it's even written in the Latin alphabet rather than the usual katakana characters. This okay isn't Lorenzo's only odd speech habit, by the way. For one, he has a tendency to only pronounce the verbal stem when he's using verbs, which is completely ungrammatical in Japanese. Moreover, he frequently utters two-word questions comprised of a single term followed by okay. Shuto okay, kachinasai okay, hangeki okay, shinri okay, which literally translated go shoot okay, priceless okay, counterattack okay, truth okay. So this combination of two-word sentences, simplistic and inaccurate grammar, and a repetitive verbal tick at the end of his sentences all contribute to making him sound rather zombie-like. And to conclude, I can't ignore our good friend Shido. A funny little recurring joke is his punny nicknames for Rin. When Rin goes fully loco at the end of the U20 match, Shido responds, very nice, Bero Rin. Bero is an informal word for tongue, and as One Piece fans will undoubtedly know, Berori is an onomatopoeic verb meaning to lick. So, with Berorin, Shido combines Rin's name with the words tongue and lick into one neat package. Later, when Rin hijacks Shadow's pass in the PXG match, Shido calls him out as Netorin. Yes, that's from the verb netoru, to steal someone's spouse, as in netorare. And to end it on a high note, here's a gem that was posted by Twitter user Umemom, link in the description. when Shido gets the ball in chapter 287, he goes ikanakya, meaning I have to come. But which is suspiciously similar to ikunakya, which can euphemistically mean I have ejaculated. And then, and this is a bit more complex.
They just can't stop with
Osei
Shido being horny. I don't.
slow sounds a lot like osei mo. Now, there's a combination of the kanji used in osei with the kanji that usually reads mo that, when taken together, means delayed ejaculation. You're welcome. I've no idea if this video was watchable at all, or if I've gone fully off the rails at this point. But if you're still here and have an interesting linguistic blue lock fact of your own to add, please do tell me in the comments, because I genuinely enjoy stuff like this.
Yeah, so Sizzles, what you forgot to add for your video was great video though. But what you forgot to add was that when Kaiser scored his Magnus goal, you forgot to mention the fact that in Japanese it literally says it's Michael Kaisering time. And I feel like there's a lot of deep significance there. And you know, I'm very sad that, you know, he doesn't mention that in the video. Like you guys know that, right? Like when Kaiser scores his goal, he says it's Michael Kaisering time. Like I don't know why he left that out. But yeah, otherwise great video, Sizzles. Gonna be honest, very different than what I was expecting for this actual video. I was expecting something drastically different. But I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna actually call the stream here. It's been about 90 minutes. I'm very tired. I'm gonna probably go pass out. But yeah, thank you so much for tuning into the stream. I appreciate you guys tuning in. We're gonna do another NEL pod episode Wednesday. Might just be me again, but we're gonna drop it Wednesday, and we will then. I blanked on. Yeah, we'll cover the new chapter, official chapter, because it'll be out, and then yeah, I think you guys will be getting the chapter video on Wednesday, so you won't be getting a normal Wednesday upload, but I'm going to try and give you guys double uploads for the weekend. I'll try my best, though. Can't promise anything. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate all the guys who tuned into the stream. Join the Discord server. Are you going to stream tomorrow when the leaks drop? Maybe not. I might not drop another stream tomorrow because I have class on Tuesdays. So I have to I'll go to class, and then I will come back, and when I'm here, I'll probably be working on my chapter review video, so I'll probably do the stream on Wednesday. But yeah, thank you guys so much for joining the stream. I appreciate you guys being here for the 90 minutes that we had. But yeah, I will see you guys in, I'll see you guys in the next video, which will probably